create, why we have to create the client, why client is required the logical systems. So all those things we know, right? So that's perfectly fine. So now let's start discussing about the so after the client creation, what we have to do. After the client creation, what we have to do, right? So after the client creation, we need to log into the newly created client. Then how to log into the newly created client, right? Why? Because we created only client, not the users. Why? Because users are different each and every client. Users are different in the each and every client. If you want to log into your own client, suppose 800 client created, right? Suppose if I want to log into the 800 client with the basis user, then how can I log in? Right? I cannot log in. How can I log in with the DDIC? Right? I cannot log in. So, right? How can I log in with the SAP Star? So I cannot log in, right? Why? Because it's a new client. New client means empty client you created. So we cannot log in. We cannot log in with these new clients. We cannot log in. Why? Because it's a new client you created, but not the data. Data you have not created. Data you have not created here. So then how can we log into the newly created client? How can we log into the newly created client here? So to log into the newly created client, we need to enable the SAP Star with password. We have to enable it here, which is like emergency user. So we have to enable it here in the newly created client. So how to enable then? To log into the newly created clients, we need to enable the SAP Star with pass is the password. By default, pass is the password. So we have to use it. So how to log in with the pass? So this is called the emergency user. We have to enable it. How to use this one, right? How to use this concept here. So regardless, to log in with the SAP Star with pass, again, we need to change the one parameter in SAP level. We have to change the one parameter. So what is this parameter here? So now one new topic will come as part of the client administration. With the client administration, you will get few more subtopics you will get here. So now we are discussing about in the client administration. So client creation we are discussing. Then after that, to log into the newly created client, we need to change the one parameter, right? One parameter, we have to change it here. So what is that parameter? First of all, what is this parameter? Where these parameters are available? So in this case, first of all, we have to discuss about the new topic that is called the profiles and parameters concept. Profiles and parameters concept here. Profiles and parameters. In SAP system, if you want to change, by default, you will get the default configuration. By default, you will get the default configuration from the SAP. By default, you will get the default configuration from the SAP, right? By default, you will get the default configuration from the SAP, right? So in any case, if you want to do some changes, which SAP configuration default settings you will get. In any case, you want to change the configuration as per your customer setting, customer interest, customer changes. You need to change the one parameters. So these parameters are located in the profiles. Okay. So profiles contains the parameters, right? Profiles contains the parameters here. Here in the SAP system total, there are the two types of profiles are available. Two types of profiles are available. So one is the default profile. One is the default profile. The second one is the instance profile. Instance profile. So in the instance profile, again, two are there. One is the application server profile, SAP app server, application server profile. The second one is called the ASCS profile, ASCS profile. So got it? So why? Because we have the two types of instances, right? One is the ASCS, second one is the application server, right? Application server profile. So that is the reason default only one, default profile. So, but instance profile we have two. One is the application server and ASCS profile. When you install the SAP system, you will get the two instances, right? One is the ASCS instance and second one is the application server profile. ASCS means in the ASCS profile, so message server and NQ server related parameters are available. Parameter settings, right? ME, message server, NQ server related parameters are available here. In the application server profile, so remaining work process, then SAP level settings, everything will be in the, so in the ASCS profile. Default profile, default common profile, default settings, default parameters, default SID, instance number, host name, all these are available in the default profile, right? These parameters. So in these profiles, you have the parameters are available here. So where can I change these parameter settings in the SAP level? So in RZ10 or RZ11, we can change the values of the, these parameters. In RZ10 or RZ11, we can change the values of these parameters. In RZ10 or RZ11, we can change the values of the parameters here. There are two transaction codes are available where you can go ahead and change the parameter values. You can change it here. RZ10 means here, this is the static parameter. Suppose if you see the screen, then you will come to know all those things here, right? So let me log in. Why? Because we are unable to log into the here. Now let me log into the 100 client here. One of the basis user. Why? Because 100 client it will work. Why? Because we have the data available. 100 client it will work. Users are available here. So now go to the RZ7. Any client you can go ahead and you can change the profile values. So here you can change the, see the profiles here. Just import the profiles from OS level to here. The profiles will be imported here. So this is copied from the production, right? So that is the reason it's saying that no profiles found. So what we have to do, we need to import the profiles here. Check all active profiles here. The database level, this is already available. This already exists. So this is already exist in the database level. Okay. Go to RZ10. Okay. Select the profile. So here, see here, there the types of profiles are two: default profile, instance profile. So default profile only one, default instance profile two. One is the ASCS profile, right? And the second one is the application server profile. ASCS means, so your message server, NQ server related parameters are available. Message server, NQ server parameters are available here. So then application server profile, then your application server related profiles, like, so these are the parameters, these are the values of the parameters here. These are the parameters, these are the values here. So these parameters are available under profile. Under the profile, these parameters are available here. Under the profile, we have the parameters are available here. So default, you can see the default parameter, DB hostname, SAP Windows type. So all these are the parameters. All these are the parameters here. All these are the parameters which are available in the system. All these are the parameters which are available. Right? So suppose these are the parameters and profiles and parameters. Profiles and parameters here. In RZ10, we can change it here. At the same time, we can also go to the RZ11. Here also, we can change some parameters here. Suppose select any one of the parameter. If you don't know the parameter value, just click the browse button. Then you will see the list of parameters which are there in the system. All will be displayed. All will be displayed here. All will be displayed here. All the parameters, it will be displayed. It's a very hard to remember the thousands of parameters, right? So that's why. So you will get the information, you will get the inputs from the SAP, or as part of the recommendations, you need to change some parameters here. So here what you should know, where to change those things here. In which transaction code we have to change it here. There are the two transaction codes here, RZ10, RZ11. RZ10, RZ11, you have to change the parameter values. You have to change it here. RZ10 and RZ11, you have to change the values of the parameters here. If you change the parameter value in the RZ10, in the instance profile, you need to restart the system. If you change in instance profile, if you change the value in using the RZ10, so that is the permanent. That is the permanent changes. Then you need to restart the system. That is will be permanent change. Why? Because the value, whatever you change in the RZ10, definitely those are the permanent changes, but you need to restart the system here. But if you change in RZ11, that parameters are not permanent changes. It will be affect immediately. We affect immediately here. RZ10 and RZ11 here. RZ10 and RZ11 here. Okay. So there are the two types of profiles are available here. One is the default profile and instance profile here. So default profile, the default parameters are available. So here, instance profile, instance parameters are available here. There the instance means ASCS instance, application server instance. Application server means application server, we have the work process, SAP related buffers, all those things are available here. ASCS means message server, NQ server related parameters are available. So those things we can discuss in the ASCS profile, right? So, but any profile, so we can change it in the RZ10 and RZ11. Few parameters are we can change it in the RZ11. Few are we can change it in the RZ10. So what are those few means? So that we cannot tell exactly which one is the static or which one is the dynamic here. Static means RZ10 is the static. Dynamic means RZ11 is the dynamic here. So static means definitely you need to restart the system. Suppose in RZ10, if you are changing the one parameter value, immediately that won't affect. You need to restart the system, then only that will be affected. When you change in the RZ11, so that is also, that is not permanent. That will be temporary. It will be affected immediately, but that is the dynamic here. So not all the parameters we cannot change in the RZ11. Suppose how to change the parameters means, suppose you want to change the some work process related parameters here. Suppose dialog work process 10 are there here. Now I don't want to 10, I want only, so 8 dialog work process and the BTC only 4 is required here. Then you changed this here, right? You changed this values here. Then copy, back, save, activate here. So activate. The parameter value changes. See here. So for affecting the activation of the profile, you need to restart the application server, which means we have to perform the application server restart. Then only it will be affected. Otherwise, you see here, you go to the SM50 work process status. Here we have the work process like, so dialog 10, update 6 are there. We decrease it to 8 and 4, right? Is it affected immediately? No, it's not affected immediately. Then go to the RZ11, then here also you can change it, right? Go to the any one of the parameter, then here also you can change it, right? But there is no change button here. Only there is no change button, only display button is there here. So if the display if is not changeable in the RZ11 means this is not the dynamic parameter. This is the static parameter. So you can go to the RZ11. So check whether this is the static or dynamic here. So this is the, if it is changeable, suppose like few parameters, suppose example here, if I take ACL mode, so see here, this is the change value is there. This we can change it. The value, we can change it here. So this is the, so dynamic parameter. So it's changed. You don't need to restart the system. Immediately the value is affected. Immediately the value is the 0. So like this, a few parameters can be changeable. Few parameters cannot be changeable here. Why? Because it's a dynamic switchable, which means so dynamically the value will be switchable here. You have the change value here, right? But if you see the one more parameter value, example this one does not any change value. So which means this is not the so dynamic value. This is not the dynamic parameter. This is the static parameter. So if it is the static parameter, then where we have to change? We have to go to the RZ11, the RZ10. There we have to change the parameter value. See here. So what is this parameter? Login / no underscore automatic underscore user SAP star. So this is the parameter we have to enable in the system to log into the newly created client. To log into the newly created client. So we have to log into the newly created client. We have to use the, so SAP, we have to enable this parameter value to 0. Right? Here we cannot change it here. Then go to the RZ10 again. Go to the, so default instance profile, extended maintenance here. Click on the create. Okay. Just click on the start button here. So this value is 0. So then make it 1. Why? Because 0 means 1, 0 and 1. We want to see the 0. What will happen if you make it the 0? What will happen if you make it the 1 here? See here. By default, the parameter value is set to 1, which means, the 1 means, so it won't be allowed, which means SAP star won't be allowed here. In order to log in with the SAP star, to set the following parameter, so SAP star is equal to 0 and restart the instance. Means in the parameter value, we have to change it to the 0, right? So click on the copy, go back, again copy, go back, save and save and activate the profile value. So like this, we need to change it and you have to restart the application server. Then if you restart the SAP application server, the value will be affected. The value will be affected. So the values means we can log in with the SAP star with the default pass. And also here, what we have? Here we have dialog work process also we changed, right? Here we have dialog work process we decreased from the 10 to 8 and BTC we changed, right? Let's try to restart the SAP system here. Just restart in the SAP system here to see whether the values will be affected or not. So, but restarting the system, so we have to plan carefully here, especially for production systems. You need to get the downtime approval, then only we have to restart it. Otherwise, the business users, while restarting, system is not available for the business users, so that they will do the escalations. Without if you do without approval, then they will escalate. So that is the reason approvals are very important here. Approvals are very important here. Yeah, shared memory. That is the thing will happen here. Shared memory. ECD also down. So it's a very common issue in the Windows based systems. Once you stop the running systems, the it won't release the memory. We need to restart the OS only. Then only the memory will be released from the operating system, right? So at the same time. So while that is in progress, so here we have the two types of profiles: default profile and instance profiles. Instances again two, right? ASS instance. ASS means message server and queue server. Those related parameters are available in the ASS, and remaining all things are available in the application server profile. So, so where to change the profile parameter value? In RZ10, RZ10, we can change the value of the profile parameters. We can change it. RZ10, we can change it. But you need to do the restarts. Restart is required here. If you perform anything in the RZ10, so restart is required here. Restart is required here. Without restart, we cannot perform any changes in the systems. Without restarts, we cannot perform any changes in the systems here. So definitely the restart is required if you change in the RZ10. But RZ11 is the dynamic parameter. You no need to do the restarts. You no need to perform any restarts here. You no need to perform any restarts. That does not required. Why? Because those are the dynamic values. Those are the dynamic values here. Okay, it is getting started. This is also getting started. Now you can see here dialogues. Dialogues change it to the 8, right? As per the parameter value, it should be 10, but we change it to the 8. These are the 6, we change it to the 4, right? It changed. The values got changed here. The values are got changed here. The values are changed here. The same time. So again, now ECD is not getting started here. We will change it here. But anyway, we have the ECP is up. We can log into the ECP. SMTP, you see here. So the system is accessible here. The system is accessible here. We have changed the 5 and 6, 4. So with the values are changed here. The values change here like this. So how you change the configuration value? Go to the RZ tab. In the RZ tab, selected the profile, which profile you want to select it. Go to the extended maintenance, click on the change button. Then here you can change the values, 8, 4, something like that. You can change the value. The value will be changed accordingly. The value will be changed accordingly in the system. The value will be changed here. Okay. So that is the one thing we can say in the profile value. In the profile, we can say this is the value. We can say it here. This is the way we can change the profile parameter value like that. So we have to change the one more login slash no underscore automatic underscore user SAP star. To enable the SAP star user, we have to make it the 0. Login slash no automatic user SAP star is equal to 0. Then only we can log in with the SAP star with the pass in the newly created client here. Suppose we have created the one new client. In the P, one client is then be 150, I guess. So SAP star with pass, it will be allowed. It will be allowed now. Why? Because previously it is not allowed. But we have the 150 client we created, 313 created, 400 we created, right? So then when I click on this button, so it is allowed now. It is allowed now. Why? Because SAP star with PASS pass we have enabled. So if anyone create the new client, to log into the newly created client, you need to open the, you need to change the client. Suppose you have 800 client you created. Then with SAP star, with the pass, you have to log in. Otherwise, so you cannot log in. Why? Because they are initially there are no users are available. No users are available in the newly created client. We just created only client, not the inside of the data here. That is the reason you cannot log in with your user ID and password. So we have to use the SAP star with the pass is the password we have to use to connect to the your newly created client here, right? So that is the one thing here. So regarding the profiles, and so how to enable the SAP star with password means by changing the one parameter. So what about these parameters means that time the profiles concept will come into the picture. Profiles, we have the two types of profiles are there in the systems, default and instance profile. Default parameters are default settings are available here. So right, default. So then SAP application server profile. So application server means SAP presentation application layer. Then ASCS profile, message server, NQ server related profile. So like this, we need to change the values to restart the system. For changing the values, RZ10 and RZ11 is enough. So only 2 transaction codes. Few are can be changeable from so RZ10, few are not from RZ11. So in that case, RZ10 is the static value. Definitely, we need to restart the system. RZ11, immediately it will be affected. You no need to restart the system. This is about the profiles and the parameters concept here. Right? Got it? Any questions from anyone? Let me restart one more time. Any questions from anyone?
Not as of now, sir. While practicing, if we got any doubt, definitely.
Yeah. That's why we are going very slowly on the topics wise. Yeah, you can just practice it, not a problem. But please practice it. But because tomorrow they may ask you the questions. Can you tell me the types of profiles here? How many types of profiles are available? You will say like our default profile, a instance profile. In the instance, we have two. That is the application server, and the second one is the ASCS instance profile. So in the ASCS profile contains ASCS message server, NQ server related parameters. So application server profile, SAP work process remaining, and also buffers. So buffers and all those things are available in the instance profile. Default, all the common parameters are available in the default here. So try to practice. Okay. So try to practice the profile administration. Maybe it's entirely new. Just try to practice it. So change the few parameters in the system level. I will send you the parameters list as well. What are parameters you have to change it so that you can practice it. Okay.
Okay.
Practice.
Sir, under production we have changed the configurations, right, sir?
Sorry.
Under production only we have changed the configurations.
Yeah. Development also we can change it, but development you can do the changes. So why? Because development is stopped right until we restart the system. So that's I am starting now. Development also we can work on. Anywhere if you change it, the solution is same. Right? RZ10, any transaction code, these transaction codes are available. So just you can change it here. Then you can change the configurations here. So both at a time we need to start. Otherwise